demo today of this Donner Prince Electronics boonar. It's a really cool delay pedal that takes after the Binson Echorec. And I have never played through a Binson Echorec before, but this pedal, more than any delay pedal, it sits really well in the mix for me. The multi-head options are really cool. I've never seen a delay pedal give you the ability to individually pick the playback heads that you want to activate or deactivate. So before I start playing, I'll sort of work my way through my knobs, or through all the knobs, and I'll try to keep this demo short, but this pedal has a lot of options built into it. So up here we have the volume control. That's the volume of the echo coming out of the pedal. Here is a tone control. It's the tone just of the echo, not of the guitar signal going in. It only affects the echo. And it's tuned so that the bass isn't too extreme and the treble isn't too extreme. I'll work my way through those two extremes in a little bit, but that's just an important thing to note. Don't expect the pedal to get super bassy or super trebly, since it does take after the Binson Echorec, which used an electrolytic fluid on a metal spinning disc head. It's a very bright repeat because of the metallic characteristics of that delay type. The swell knob is the amount of repeats. Drum speed is unique to the delay pedal. It's not on the original Binson Echorec, but the more you turn it clockwise, the faster the drum is spinning. So sort of counterintuitive to other delay pedals. If you turn it to 10, that's actually your quickest delay time. If you turn it to 0, that's your slowest delay time. And then Donner Prince says that at about 3 o'clock, that's where the classic Binson Echorec speed is. Here is sort of the bread and butter of the pedal. The playback heads, you can select one, or you can select all of them, or any combination in between. The swell repeats knob I'm going to let alone for right now. This is something that I haven't seen in any other Binson Echorec clones, but it's a really cool feature that Donner Prince has added in. There are two smaller trim pots that are accessible on the top and the side. The side one is the input control, and the way I have it set up, and I'll keep it set up for most of the demo, is essentially very close to a minimum. This pedal has the ability to get somewhat distorted because it uses a sort of tube emulation in it. It uses a similar circuit topology as the original Binson Echorec. So I like to keep it at a minimum where the repeats are fairly clean. And then up here we have the drum age. The drum age is a really cool control to have access to, and the original units, again, as the units would age, they sort of got this nice sort of vibrato effect to them. And what's really cool about this pedal, and I don't know if this is true of the original units, is when you activate just one playback head, yeah, you can hear the sort of vibrato, but when you activate multiple playheads, there's this really sweet vibrato phaser effect almost going on. And I'm not sure if that's the interaction between the multiple playback heads or what it is. But when I first started playing with this pedal, I just was using one playback head. I was like, wow, I really wish I had more of that drum age that I could get at. But as soon as I kicked in the other drum heads, I started to get that feeling of that Echorec tone. And that's sort of where I see other emulating pedals. They sort of get their bass tone from that phaser-ish, vibrato-ish modulation that this pedal can do, but only really in those multiple playback modes. So most of the demo, I have this drum age max, so it's more of a darker tone, and the vibrato is very prevalent. And I'll turn it back so that we can hear the clean signal a little bit later, but I'm going to keep it in the older drum age for most of the demo. And one last thing to note about the drum age is its speed. The speed of the vibrato depends on your drum speed. So if you have a slower drum speed, the vibrato will be slower. If you have it quicker, it'll be quicker. There is an internal trim pot on the inside that affects your output signal. I left that stock, and there's also some dip switches for trails or true bypass. I have it left in true bypass, and then a vintage in modern mode, which affects your input impedance. Again, I left that as stock, which I think is in modern mode. So let's get into it. I am playing a Mexican Strat into a Crate Palomino V16. Here's my clean tone. And here's the boonar. So that's just a basic sort of delay coming out of the pedal. I'm going to turn the drum speed down so we can get a longer delay, the swell up, and I want you to really try to listen to the vibrato in the age of the tape. I'm going to turn the bass down just a little bit more. I have the volume all the way up. We'll keep it that way for most of the demo. And now I'm going to turn the drum speed up, so you should hear that quicker vibrato now. And now if I bring another playback head in, you're going to sort of hear that phaser vibrato sound that I was talking about. So with these multiple playback modes, you sort of have a variation of speeds that you can get from keeping the drum speed the same. So it's kind of hard to work my way through the drum speed knob, but I'm going to try my best to show you kind of the minimum and maximum speeds that you can get. I'll first start out with the shortest possible delay time, which is the maximum drum speed, and the first playback pad. And you can kind of think of the drum speed as a spinning disc that's coming through and hitting each of these playback heads successfully. This is a really nice slapback setting. And now, just by not touching the drum speed and sort of switching back from, or switching from playback 1 to playback 4, you'll hear there's a pretty big dramatic change in the speed or the time between the delays. So that was some sort of cool self-oscillation that the pedal can really do, and I hope you heard that as I turned different playback heads on, it definitely affected the way the feedback and the self-oscillation actually occurred. Real quick, I want to show you the bass and treble tone knobs. Let's get a good delay set up for that. So here is minimum tone, maximum bass. And here is maximum tone, maximum treble. And while I'm on this tone knob, I'm going to show you the range of the drum age. So I've been at maximum drum age the entire demo so far, which is essentially the oldest drum age, the most vibrato, the darkest tone. If I turn it completely the opposite direction, we'll get a brand new drum age, which is very bright, but still has a sort of a warm quality to it because of the analog effect of the unit, but definitely brighter than the old drum. Personally, I prefer the darker repeats of the older drum, but even the darker repeats, this pedal stays very bright throughout the entire range. Real quick, I'll show you the input control. Like I said, if you set it to a minimum, it's actually complete. You won't get any delay signal. For most of the demo, I had it just slightly above the minimum, right about here. A little bit louder than that. And then if you crank it all the way, you can get some sort of pseudo tube crunch out of the pedal, out of the delay repeat. And you hear this is how you can get the maximum volume out of the delay if this volume knob isn't, the delays aren't as loud as you want with this volume knob maxed. But you do get some distortion out of the delays if you do that. So now let's work our way sort of through all the playback head combinations, and obviously there's a lot of them, so what I'm going to do is just give a quick strike to the guitar strings. I think that gives you sort of a good idea of what the what the delays would sound like if I was to noodle around a little bit more, and I will at some point, but just to get through all of them pretty quickly. So the delay sits really nicely behind my playing. That's my favorite thing about it. It sits really well in the mix. It doesn't overtake the signal, even at a maximum volume, which I think is super killer about it. Real quick, last thing I want to touch on is this swell repeats knob. I've had it in repeats mode for the entire demo, and it took me a little while to figure out what the swell functionality actually does. So what it does is if I turn the echo all the way down and turn all 4 playback heads on, I get this kind of repeat. Now, if I turn this repeats, or the swell knob on, and I turn all of these off, I get the same exact thing. So why would you want to do that? And the answer to that is because the swell knob does not affect those 4 repeats that are in swell mode. Still, we only get 1 repeat. So what you can do then is turn a playback head on, and those 4 repeats that are getting hit every time will then, the delays will be repeated on that single playback head. So when you turn, I'll keep the volume up first so you hear what that sounds like. And if you turn the volume back, you get a sort of reverb-like quality to the delay. So this is a really unique feature that I think is limited only to this pedal. I haven't seen any of the other Echorec clones or anything like that that really do that. So I'll noodle around a little bit for the end here. I hope you really enjoyed the demo. I really dig this pedal. One thing I do want to mention though before I noodle around towards the end is the pedal is made in Croatia, and in order to get it to the US, they had to ship it obviously from Croatia. And one thing that's not anywhere on their website or anything like that is there is a import or export, whatever you want to call it, tax from Croatia. So when I got this pedal, I actually got a $25 bill in the mail from USPS or FedEx or whoever shipped it. And that was sort of a bummer, and it's worth mentioning because it is an expensive pedal, but I really dig the thing. Not to throw anything away in terms of the pedal itself, but I wouldn't be doing the demo justice if I didn't mention that. So, killer pedal, love it. I'm going to noodle around here towards the end, and hope you check it out.